Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video. This is my second video I'm uploading in 2019. I think it's the second video. Anyways, nonetheless, I'm going to be sharing with you my foundation techniques for dry skin. This time of year, my skin is so sensitive, and I definitely have my foundation routine down to a fine tune, as you would say. I have to use like the perfect foundation, the perfect powders. I have to set my face the perfect way. Otherwise, my foundation will bunch up, cling to dry patches, and I will just look dry and cakey, and it can get very messy very quick if I don't follow these certain steps. Now, disclaimer, I am not a professional makeup artist. This is just a routine that I have found works for me. Hopefully it will work for you if you have been looking for products or application ideas when it comes to dry or even dry sensitive skin. If you've been looking for that, then this is the video for you. So with that being said, I'm going to share with you guys different options. I have high-end, I have drugstore, I have all of my techniques. With that being said, if you want to know these techniques and keep watching, let's go ahead and jump into the video. All right, you guys, now there are two important steps when it comes to dry skin, especially in the winter months. When your skin is dry, you get a lot of flakiness, a lot of dead skin buildup, and that can cause a lot of texture and clogged pores. That's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. You have to be very careful with the skincare that you're choosing, because if you go too harsh, your skin will further get dried out, and then you will have further irritation, redness, blemishes. You're gonna have a whole other mess on your hands. One product that I love right now off the jump here when it comes to skincare, this is from Revision. This is the Finishing Touch. This is a microdermabrasion scrub. What is unique about this is that this is like an at-home microderm, but it is created for dry, sensitive skin. This is something that was sent down from the gods, I swear. It's so unique in the fact that it has these volcanic granules in it that gives you a very gentle exfoliation, but oh my gosh, this will get rid of texture after one use. I'm not even kidding you. You will see a noticeable difference in the tone, texture, and the hydration in your skin. A lot of other exfoliators are very drying, very harsh on the skin and agitating. This is the one product that I have tried thus far that does not do that to the skin if you are dry. This is something that I suggest checking out. You can order this online. You can get it on Amazon. I will put a link down below. Hashtag not sponsored. This is just an item that I purchased with my own money that I absolutely love, and it has done wonders for my skin. The second step to that is to find a good non-comedogenic but very moisturizing moisturizer. So follow it up with that. Make sure you're toning. These are just some simple things that you can do before applying your makeup that will make your foundation look absolutely beautiful and flawless on the skin. Let's go ahead and focus on the primer. Now I have a ton of different primer options in front of me right now. If you are someone who just isn't into primers, that's totally fine. Again, you can just stick with using a good moisturizer. To me, if you have a good moisturizer, that can double as a primer. If you are looking for something that is pore filling, I've talked about this on my channel before. This is the No Poreblem Primer. This is from TouchInSol. This stuff is fantastic if you have dry skin, but you want to smooth pores, fine lines, and wrinkles. This even layers well right on top of a moisturizer or right on top of a hydrating primer. This will work wonders for that, and it's pretty affordable. Another good one is from Smashbox. This is the Photo Finish Primerizer. It says it right in the name. It's priming and it's moisturizing. So this is infused with a ton of hyaluronic acid. This has been a favorite of mine as well so far this winter season. This is a really good one, and just a trick for you guys, purchase the travel size. It actually costs less per ounce if you purchase it like this, and a little goes a long way. You don't need a lot. Another option is the NYX Honey Do Me Up. As you can see, if my camera would focus, I have used so much of this. I've almost gone through the entire bottle. This is a tried and true favorite if you just want something that helps with redness and will add that extra plump hydration to your skin, and that's all you're looking for, something that will set up just a nice canvas and make your makeup nice and long wearing. This is a nice drugstore option. Last but not least, if you're not into any of that, I highly suggest checking out the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. This is what I have opted to use today. It's just a clear water. This is non-comedogenic. This is perfect for dry skin, and it does hydrate. It's got a beautiful mister on it. All you do is after you've moisturized and done your normal skincare, you just spritz this on the skin and it just makes for a nice canvas for makeup. Moving on to foundations, I have a few options in front of me and I obviously will apply this on camera for you. As you can see, I am totally barefaced. The first one I want to touch on, if you are looking for more of a light to medium buildable coverage, I suggest the Light Illusion Primer from Flower Beauty. This is a beautiful foundation. I have mine in the shade Nude L3. You get a full ounce in this. It comes in a glass bottle. It comes with a pump. This is a really nice, illuminating, dewy finish foundation that you can get at the drugstore that isn't going to break the bank. It's very lightweight. This is a very good option, so check that out. A couple of more high-end items and some of my personal favorites, the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This one can be a little bit tricky though. If you are not super dry, I feel like this will move around all over on your face. This is a good option if you have very, very, very dehydrated skin. It's full coverage, it's long wearing, and it's a really beautiful formula. I love that. Secondly, from Too Faced, this is the Tutti Fruitti Do You Full Coverage Fresh Glow Foundation. I really liked this foundation when I tried it out, and I got a ton of compliments on my skin. The only reason I'm not using this one today is because it's just a little bit too dark for me right now. I have it in the shade Golden Beige. I probably would have been better with the shade Vanilla, but I ordered this when it released last, I want to say it was late fall, late summer, or early fall, late summer, somewhere in there. Those are good options as well. The foundation I'm going to be using today is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. Now, when it comes to applying your foundation, you've got one of three options. You can use your hands, you can use a sponge, or you can use a brush. A sponge is gonna be your best bet in my opinion. A damp sponge I have right here, this is just a Red Beauty blender. That'll help keep the foundation spreadable without drying out your skin and agitating the skin. Or you can go for a brush. I love applying a foundation with a brush. This is my favorite, but a tip, if you're going to, all you have to do is get your brush damp. This will help the foundation from drying out and drying out the skin. Brush hairs, even though they're synthetic, can tend to dry the skin. All you do is you spray it with, again, primer water. You can spray it with some setting spray or even just get it damp with some water. But as long as you damp those bristles a bit, it will just help spread out that foundation and makes this a little bit more friendly if you have dry skin. We are going to be going with a sponge today. So I'm just gonna shake up my NARS foundation. Not a lot comes out, so I'm just going to use about 3 pumps, and then I'm going to dab this on the skin, starting with the center of the face. I don't always follow this rule, but if you have fine lines and wrinkles, or if you find that things settle into your forehead area, do that area last. Just do all of the steps that you would normally do on the bottom of your face, and then work your way up to the forehead. That way you're giving your foundation a chance to set. We raise our eyebrows a lot like this when we're doing concealer or when we're blending. It'll just really help you out when it comes to applying your foundation and making sure that it's not settling into any forehead lines. Now, obviously, when using a sponge, you're gonna get not as heavy of a coverage than when you use a brush. So I'm just gonna layer this just a little bit more, just to give myself just a little bit more coverage here. I'm dealing with so much redness right now. My skin is definitely in a weird state. I would have to say that this winter has been the most dry. Another thing I will say is that I try not to bring my foundation all the way up to my eye. If you don't like to use concealers, you can do that, but we're gonna be using a concealer today. What can happen is that things can start to look heavy under the eyes, and if you have creasy under eyes or fine lines, again, that can look like a cakey mess. So me personally, I prefer not to bring too much foundation around the under eye area. All right, so I'm gonna follow my technique of doing my forehead last. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to concealer. For concealer, I have a couple of options. I am really loving this Origins concealer right now. This is their anti-aging longwear concealer. I have mine in the shade light medium. The reason why I'm really loving this is because it has kind of a peachy undertone, and so it works really well for canceling out dark circles under the eyes. But a cheaper option is from Covergirl. This is their CG Smoothers in the shade light. I love this. I did a review on this when I did my full face of Covergirl. I never thought I would like a product like this, but I am a huge huge fan. So I think I'm gonna use the Origins concealer just because I want a little bit more coverage there on those dark circles. I haven't been sleeping very well lately. Another tip with applying concealer, so many people will just drag concealer all the way out here. Cream products need somewhere to blend to. You definitely will have enough to blend out this way. You do not need to drag concealer and waste all that product creating those giant triangles under the eyes. If that's a technique that you like and that works for you, by all means do you. But for me, it's just not necessary. The only thing I will say about this particular concealer, it is not the best for prepping for eyeshadow because it does crease. But we're gonna be using a separate eyeshadow primer, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use this on the eyes as well. All right, so now that we have concealed, I'm not gonna set anything quite yet. The reason is because we are going to be using some cream products on the face. If you have dry skin, cream products are going to be your best friend. I know some people don't like them because they feel like they don't know how to apply them or they don't know how to manipulate the product, but I'm gonna talk all about that with you right now. Two cream products that I am in love with, and I've talked about these a lot on my channel. If you watched my December favorites video, this was included: the Fenty Beauty Matchsticks and the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer. Now you're probably thinking, why would I put a matte bronzer on my face? Well, because this is more of a satin matte finish, I would say. It does not dry out the skin because it is a cream product. It just gives you that nice soft focus matte finish. For contouring, for me, this is the perfect tone for my skin. This is in the shade Mocha. So if you have light, medium skin, this is the perfect shade. It's not too ashy, it's not too orange. One mistake that I think a lot of people make, and that I used to make myself, and why I never used a lot of cream products, was that if you don't let your foundation kind of sit for a moment, this will move that product around. So if you use another beauty blender or you're using a blush to blend out your cream product, you're gonna notice that your foundation is moving with it. Let that foundation just sit on your skin for a few minutes. That's why I do my concealer. I let that blend out, kind of just let everything sit and give it a chance to set in place so that it's not moving anywhere. So while we're waiting for that, I will go ahead and put foundation on my forehead and we'll finish things up there. Let's go ahead and move on to the cream products. So I'm gonna take this matchstick and I'm gonna follow the natural hollows of my cheek. I can see when I look in the mirror that I have a natural shadow that kind of goes right here, and that's what I follow. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw some of this in right there. So as far as contouring with cream goes, this is kind of the extent of it for me. I'm gonna take a fresh sponge right here. I love these Wet n Wild sponges. And I'm gonna blend this, I'm gonna blend this upward. One thing that I like about this particular cream contour is the way that it blends, and having it be in stick form gives you a lot of control. I think that these Fenty matchsticks are really underrated. I think that they are a really good product. At least this contour shade is. Now obviously I haven't set anything yet because we're not done with cream products. You never want to put cream on top of a powder. I'm sure most of you know that, but for those that don't, you do not want to do that. It will bunch up and it will not blend out and you'll have a mess on your hands. I feel like my contour is blended nicely. So now we're going to move on to the Milk Makeup Bronzer Stick. This is a little bit of a lighter shade. This is in the shade Baked. If you have anything above a medium or light medium skin tone, bump up the shade. This does come in 2 shades. So this I'm actually gonna do around my forehead as well. And I'm gonna put a healthy amount of that on my cheeks. And again, using that same sponge, I'm just gonna press this into the skin. This bronzer is beautiful. I love this bronzer. It is so good. It smells weird. It smells like Play-Doh. So if you haven't smelled this before or you go to purchase it, it does have a very odd scent. But scent aside, this product is freaking amazing. All right, so now that we have some nice warmth to the skin, let's go ahead now and move on to setting powders. I have a couple of options for you guys. The first one I want to give a mention to, this one is crazy expensive, but if you have the money or you're in the market for something like this, the La Mer the powder is fantastic if you have dry skin. This is also infused with skincare and it has very, very, very finely milled, so finely milled shimmer, micro reflex in it that just give your skin like this beautiful glow. So this is a beautiful powder. Another option if you have more sensitive skin is the Cover FX. This is their translucent light perfect setting powder. This is talc free. I think they say that it's 5 free, meaning it's free of all the things that will cause irritation, inflammation. So this is a really nice option for a setting powder as well. If you don't want to spend that kind of money on a setting powder, go for the Colourpop No Filter Loose Setting Powder. This comes in a couple of different shades. It is so finely milled and beautiful and will make your skin look absolutely poreless. When it comes to application of a powder, you got 2 options. You can use a brush or you can press it in with a sponge or a velour puff. I prefer using a velour puff, typically. I don't always go that route, but when my skin is extra dry, a velour puff presses the powder into the skin versus having it be brushed on top with a brush, thus making things look kind of heavy. When it comes to the under eye area, pressing it with a small brush like this one right here, which we will do, I'm gonna go ahead and dip into the Colourpop powder, and then I'll make sure I don't have any creasing on the under eyes. And then I will just stick to that area and just press some of that powder in. And then for the rest of my face, I think I'm gonna dip into the La Mer powder. Obviously, you don't have to be this extra. You can use the same powder, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Taking this Laura Mercier Velour Puff, get some of that into the cap, pick up some of that product, and I'm just gonna start pressing this into the skin, around the nose. If you want, you can stick to the areas where you know your makeup breaks up, where makeup starts to settle. You can do that as well, especially if you just have such dry skin and you just don't want to set your makeup that day. I'm just going to go ahead and set this kind of all over the place because this powder just doesn't really dry me out. This will also prevent product from settling into your lines as you wear it throughout the day. So I do like to bronze a bit with a powder. I'm gonna be using my butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. I'm just gonna take a big fluffy brush like this. This is the BH #1 brush from their White Elegance collection. And I'm just gonna go ahead and stipple that onto the cheeks. What I like about this bronzer is that it has a sheen to it and it's not drying. Again, when you start to layer products on top of dry skin, you start to feel dry and it does suck the moisture. Another really nice bronzer is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold Soleil bronzer. This one has micro reflex of real gold in it. It's a beautiful shade. So for blush, I'm actually gonna dip into this NARS Dual Intensity blush. This is in the shade Adoration. This pink looks so overwhelming, but it's really not. So dip an angled brush in there. I'm not gonna go too heavy on the blush because again, I have a little bit of red inflammation going on with my skin in the winter. I feel like I kind of get like reactive rosacea, if that's even a real thing, but I do. So I want to keep the blush very light. I'm not going to go too heavy, and this blush does have a little bit of a sheen to it. If you look inside this, also comes with kind of like a highlight shade. You can even mix these two. So we'll pick up a little bit of that shimmer. We'll brush just a little bit of this on the cheeks. See, this stuff just looks so beautiful and they blend. Another more affordable blush is from Essence, the Satin Touch blushes. Oh my God, I love those. They pack a punch when it comes to pigment. They're long wearing and they do have a sheen to them as well. I don't have it in front of me because I can't find it right now. So I would be showing it to you because I'm trying to give you guys more options for product, but I just don't have it in front of me. So for highlight, I'm gonna be using the BECCA Shimmering Skin Perfector. This is in the shade Royal Glow. I love this shade. I'm just gonna use a Morphe fan brush. Just gives me a nice subtle glow. The one thing I like about BECCA highlighters specifically is that they do not exaggerate texture. They melt into the skin versus like they're sitting on top, and it looks like that glow from within. So again, perfect if you've got dry skin, and they layer beautifully. Now a good affordable highlighter is gonna be from Colourpop. I love the Super Shock highlights. Those are my absolute favorite. They're so beautiful. They pack a punch. Absolutely stunning. All right, and I almost forgot, I did not contour my nose. So we are gonna go ahead and do that quickly. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to some primer. I have been ranting and raving about this eyeshadow primer. This is from Luscious. This is the Angel Eyes eyeshadow primer base. This was like a hidden gem. I've mentioned this before on my channel, but obviously if you haven't watched my channel before, this is something that I actually got in a BoxyCharm, and it's probably probably the one thing I use most out of anything I've ever gotten in a BoxyCharm, to be totally honest with you guys. This primer though is absolutely fantastic. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that on the lids for now. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off camera. I'm gonna do my brows, put on some shadow, and then I will be back with the final look and just to recap everything that has been done in this tutorial. I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so I have finished up my makeup. I used the Zodiac Love Signs palette on the eyes. I literally used 2 shades from this palette. I dipped into the matte Virgo shade all over the lid, built that up on the outer corners to add some depth, and then I put the shade Cancer, the metallic shade, all over my lid, and then I dragged Virgo on the lower lash line. So just a quick look. I was like, should I do something neutral? Nah, I'm going for it. So the last step is to use a very hydrating setting spray. My obsession right now for dry skin is the Copper Firming Mist from Is Clinical. I'm gonna link this down below. If you guys have not tried this or heard of this before, it is the most amazing setting spray ever. It is infused with copper, which is tightening and firming to the skin. It's got a lot of hydrating ingredients. It's actually infused with skincare, and it locks makeup in but gives you this dewy hydrated finish. It smells amazing. It's all natural. It is like the best setting spray ever. I just happen to like my MAC Fix Plus spray bottle, so I just dump it in here. The container that it comes in is not bad by any means, but I'm just kind of stuck on this and that's my personal favorite. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off this look, and it just gives you like this glowy, beautiful finish to the skin. Let me know in the comments down below what products you use. What are your absolute favorites? Let me know if you learned anything from this video. I love hearing back from you guys. It is my absolute favorite. I love to interact. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you liked it, share it, and of course, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell button before you go. I love you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye guys!